Hey everyone, welcome back to Chase the Sunrise Portugal. It's Enoch here, and in this video I want to delve a little bit deeper into what we're actually doing in the land itself. I think this property is probably going to be divided into 6 parts. We have the driveway, we have the house, we have the outdoor area, we have a garden, we have the farm, and we have the greenhouse. So those are the 6 areas that we'll be focusing on. We won't be doing everything at once, obviously. We'll be doing them in stages, but we will be working on the house first, just because we want to get the habitation license as soon as possible, and then all the other developments can take place. First, let's talk about the land. We've got 2 plots of land. One is rural and ecological, and the other one is urban and agricultural. The challenge with this property is that because it has 3 different zonings, we can't do anything on the ecological part of it. Luckily for us, it's just a very small corner on the northeastern side of the property. All the urban area is on the west side of the property, and it's up against the wall of our neighbor. And because we only have a small portion that goes from kind of halfway through the driveway up to the southeast corner of the property, only that area is urban. It's kind of at a weird angle, diagonal. And so because of that, we have to be very careful how we position the house and where we put it. Now onto the house. Our house is going to be a cozy 1,000 square feet. That's about 100 square meters, but super functional, low maintenance. It'll have 3 bedrooms. 2 will be set up as video and music studio, and the 3rd as an office and arts and crafts space. We're also adding a small laundry as well as a pantry wall. The kitchen, dining, and lounge will all be in the main house. Will be the biggest part of the house, which will be the heart of the home. We're going with light steel frame structure for the house, using MGO boards to keep it fire and mold resistant. The ceilings will be 9 foot tall with a sloping roof that overhangs 5 feet in the front and 4 feet in the back. The roof will also help us with rainwater harvesting into a 10,000 liter tank, and eventually we'll also install solar onto the roof as well. The light steel frame portion of it is going to be done with the help of a company called Blocken. The reason why we decided to go with Blocken instead of doing traditional cement is because it's lighter, it's quicker to put up, stronger, and we don't have to worry about drilling back into concrete to put pipes for plumbing and electrical and that sort of stuff. So the light steel frame really does make it a lot easier. And then the MGO board is just awesome. You can put it on the outside of your building. You can actually insulate the outside and render the insulation that we're going to be using. It's kind of like a foam, insulates the home very well. On the inside, we'll have regular insulation with drywall. So keeping things kind of traditional, but also modern. Right behind me is the entryway to the property. It's the driveway. It's very long. It's about 90 feet, which is about 20 meters, I think. And so what we want to do here is throughout, so this side is our neighbor's house and this side is our property. We're going to have to build a canopy right over so that when you come into property, it's all covered like a tunnel. And then we'll be growing grapes, kiwi fruit, passion fruit, and we're going to put wisteria and lilac throughout the whole area. So when you come into the property, you've got this beautifully covered, very scented, organic, beautiful entryway to the property. So behind me is where we're thinking of putting the farm. The farm area will have access through the back there, that wall that's behind me. We're going to create an entrance into it with a kind of an arch. We want to create our own food, do preservation, jams, chutneys, pickling, jarring, all that kind of food preservation. We're going to have raised beds. We are going to have fruit trees that will be planted directly into the ground, but we're also going to do espalier trees. The reason why we're doing that is because we want to try and keep our trees as small and as productive as possible. It's only 2 of us staying here, so it's my wife and myself, and so we didn't want our tree just to grow randomly and big and take up a lot of space and then have all this fruit that just falls to the ground and just rots away. When you have espalier trees, it's easier to control, and you can also control the vigor, so you can have sweeter, nicer fruit, and that's why we chose to do all the fruits that we're gonna eat the most and preserve the most as espalier trees. We're also gonna have some lemon and orange trees, as well as another couple of trees that are actually fruit trees that we'll leave, and we'll just maintain the size of them so that they stay relatively small as well. Just makes it easier to harvest when that time comes. We've already spoken to Claudio at Deer Plant up in Amaranth. They produce and keep mature trees, so when you buy their trees, you're not buying the bare root or a small plant. They do have that as well. What they're known for is their mature trees. They have some olive trees there that are extremely old.
850 more or less. 900.
Jeez.
Do they ever die?
850
Do they ever die?
years old.
Or do they
They,
just...
they can last up to 4,000 years old. The oldest ones known are close to 3,000 years old.
Very pricey, obviously, but we won't be buying any olive trees. Our neighbor has 7 olive trees along his driveway, and we'll be looking after them for him and pruning them and taking care of that. Claudio is kind of he's helping us design the garden, as well as creating shade and creating windbreaks and that kind of thing, so that when we start creating our shade and our areas around here, we've already got that plan in place. The outdoor entertainment space is something I'm really looking forward to making. We're adding a stock tank pool with a sun lounge area. We're also thinking of putting a sauna in the corner and a kitchen barbecue dining combo. So that'll let us eat outside and prepare meals outside, as well as do preserving and jarring if we need to outside, so we don't make a big mess in the house. It's going to be perfect for relaxing and hosting get-togethers. The deck areas will be covered in stone tile, and we'll also have an outdoor shower just around the back of the house for rinsing off if we're dirty coming into the house from the farm area. As I mentioned in the first video, we'll be sharing the well with our neighbor, so we'll be placing 2 pumps for ease of access. Our neighbor is also the person who's selling us this land, and he's been very supportive, and I think he's actually more excited about what we're going to be doing here. As we move forward with this project, we're aiming for a more self-sufficient lifestyle. We're growing our own food, preserving, canning, pickling, doing as much as we can ourselves, and that includes building the house. We're also planning to make a lot of our own furniture. It's all part of living more intentionally and sustainably. When we started looking for property, we knew that we didn't want to live in a town or a city, but we didn't want to live too isolated either. We wanted to be close to the essential amenities, especially medical facilities, and also near the coast. While the land itself is flat without much of a view and no brambles to clear, which is a plus, it didn't quite fit the romanticized idea I had of living in Portugal. But the more time I spend here, the more I realize that this place is exactly what we need. It ticks all the boxes in the list that we initially made when we decided to move to Portugal and buy property and build a house. So I'm very happy that we're here, and I hope that you guys will tag along with us and see how things develop in the future. And that's a quick rundown on what's next for the land and the house build. Super excited to share this journey with you all, so stay tuned for more updates as we start making these plans a reality. A long piece of land right over here, and so we have, what is an agri? How do we turn this thing